Hi everyone, it's Alisha Brescia here at Cosmic Gateway. Hope you're doing well. This is the intuitive insights for the very tail end of April into the first week of May 2019 for this card here. See? So let's jump in and see. Whoop. Those two want to come out. Let's see what wants to come through. Hope you've had an inspiring week. Okay. All right. Yeah. There's a lot going on the planet right now, so make sure you tune into the updates where I talk more about what's happening energetically. Whew. All right, let's see. Pull one more card here. Oh, lots want to come through. All right, I'm going to start here. Okay, so the first card that's jumped out, we've got the War and Peace card. Just throwing. Lucky I have my beautiful assistant with me today. So as you guys know, I normally throw the cards around. Luckily I have someone to pick them up for me. Thank you, Carolina. So I've got the War and Peace card. So this card here, talks a lot about the inner conflict, the conflict between the mind and the heart. And so quite often, our heart pulls us in one direction and we kind of feel guided to do something that is from a heart space. But what happens is that quite often it's in conflict with what the mind says, especially if we're dealing with the lower aspect of the mind or the egoic mind. And so quite often that can then put us in a place of inaction because, one's saying one thing and the other thing saying the other thing, and it feels like we're being pulled in different directions. And so with that card, I want to say, both are quite valid, if you can harmonize and bring them into alignment, perhaps really connect in with what the heart says and then be able to apply a small aspect of logic to be able to create that forward movement. But it's not taking, one that's over here and the other that's over here. It's about bringing them back into harmonization. And I think a really important part of that is being aware of what the heart's saying and what the mind's saying. If you can really identify that, okay, that's coming from mental space, that's coming from my mind, that's the overthinking part. And generally the heart, when that speaks, it's a much more soft, subtle inner knowing. And so, I just feel like bringing in and marrying the two together, which will be able to give you more clarity. We also have the Divine Order card. So I'll show you that one there. I love this card because it talks about, when we're feeling quite low in energy and feeling quite down mentally and emotionally and feeling the heaviness or the weight of the world, which really has been the energies for quite some weeks now for a lot of people. And that card really asks us to not place our focus and attention too much on that when we look around the world and we see it in a way that doesn't align with our values or how we want to see it. It says, everything has a divine order. Everything, for everything there's an opposing opposite, and that's what creates contrast. It creates a learning. It creates balance. And it's only until we start to look and we rise up and we see the higher perspective that, there is no good or bad. There is no, opposites. Everything kind of has this part in it all. We can't have one without experiencing the other, and one often creates, if we go through a situation that we deem bad or heavy or painful, there's always good that is birthed through that. We always learn something from that, and if we didn't have that experience, we wouldn't be able to catapult from having one experience to the next. So it's about seeing, so it might be reflecting and looking over what you've been experiencing over the last, few weeks or months to see, what is the bigger picture in what you've been going through and what's it teaching you and how can you learn from that, how can you grow from that and kind of bring it into full circle. Followed by that card, we have the Surrender card. So it might be a time for rest and take some time for deep relaxation and recalibration if you have been going through a lot of, inner work, a lot of inner conflict. Sometimes we get to that point where we can analyze, overanalyze, and then we just kind of got to, step back and let it go and drop it and just put ourselves in that place of surrender. And quite often when we do, as you guys would probably already know, when we take a step back and we surrender, that's where things can kind of come in. But, before, while we've got that hold on it, it doesn't fully allow us to be in that place of allowing. So, be in that space of allowing. I've also got, we've got the other card that popped out, which is the yes card. So, whatever intuitive guidance or that little voice that's been kind of asking you to take that leap of faith, whatever that has been, your answer is yes, do it, place it into action. Really trust your instincts and your intuition, because it's so important. And quite often we don't allow ourselves. Sometimes it can seem completely ridiculous and crazy, but really allow yourself to trust your intuition this week. If you have repetitive thoughts that, all right, see, those cards keep coming up again. If you keep having those, I tried to put them back. The same ones came out. If you have repetitive thoughts, really take notice of that. That's your intuition talking to you, and take guided action upon that. So what have we got here? Protection. We've got illusion, source, and boundaries. Whew. Yeah, certainly some deep stuff going on here. So I'll just show you those two cards there. So we've got the protection and illusion cards. So if you are going through some heavier times, and I don't say that lightly, because I know that it can be really challenging, but what I want to say to that is just know that you are ultimately protected. You are being looked after. You are being guided. And quite often when we're put into what I call initiations or challenges, that's when we feel the most disconnected, because that is the time that we have to action or work on our own self-mastery, which involves going through and seeing through the illusion. So a lot of fear can come up, a lot of uncertainty can come up in those spaces, and it's designed that way so that we can really embody that self-mastery, to be able to move through the illusion of the fear, to move through the illusion of the uncertainty, knowing that everything kind of has that really divine orchestration to it. And so I love that the last two cards, we've got source and we've got boundaries, but I want to show you these cards because I see a lot different. So the source card says to me, connecting to that higher aspect of you, connecting with source, connecting with the universe, the divine. And I see that connected in with the surrender card. So sometimes when we can just let go and let God, we move ourselves out the way, that's where the answers can show up or the solutions can show up. So it's about, going in and seeking that higher connection and that guidance that comes through that, because that's what's going to allow you to move beyond your own limitations and boundaries. So if you have a look at this card here, and you can see, the crystal city in the sky, and that I almost see that as like the higher destination, the timeline, and being able to kind of, if you're sitting in this aspect and you can't see over it, and then all of a sudden that solution appears, that you can move through it quite effortlessly. So, knowing that when we're stuck in that lower level mind, that sometimes the solutions can be right in front of us. So it's just about to take that step back, surrender, reassess, and then look at it through different eyes, through a different level of perception. And sometimes what we're looking for can be right in front of us. So I hope that helps someone out there. I hope that it resonates. If you do feel that you need extra guidance or support, obviously I offer a lot of energy work and guidance. You can have a look in the description box below, any of the services that I offer, or connect with me there. If not, have a beautiful week through connection and surrender. And I'm sending you so much love. And until next week, I'll see you then. Mwah. Bye.